நிகழ்ச்சியில் மேடையேறவிருக்கின்ற மிக முக்கியமான அடுத்த நபர், co-founder of Clinical AI and Quantum Hackathon, Mr.
Arudprasath Nadarasa அவர்களை அன்போடு மேடைக்கு அழைக்கின்றோம் ஒரு சிற்றுரை ஆற்றுவதற்காக.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Arun. So I'm privileged to be here today. So for those that don't know me, I'm a pharmacist, and I'm also the co-founder of the Clinical AI and Quantum Hackathon. And to this presentation, I'll be discussing about the opportunity for all Tamil small and medium-sized enterprise on the opportunity with vibe coding. So for those who haven't heard of vibe coding, it's basically to allow you to create full stack application using English. So normally before you had to learn how to do coding. For example, you had to go to become a software engineer, but now if you're just using your language, English, you can create full stack application. That is the concept of vibe coding. And basically, the AI model will translate what you're trying to say into code, right? And it's kind of become a game changer for all small businesses, especially for the Tamil community. And some of the key benefits. So when I did the research this morning, it's been found by using AI into your business, you'll be able to serve 2.3 billion, and it allows you to have first mover advantage, because right now vibe coding is still an emerging topic, and I've been doing this for the past 6 months, positioning myself as one of the leading clinicians in the world for vibe coding. And basically it allows anyone to do full stack application. What are the potential risks of not being part of this movement? It kind of puts you behind in comparison to other small businesses that are leveraging AI. There is a higher development cost. So previously, when you wanted to create a full stack application, you need to approach a development agency that might charge you about £10,000 to £50,000. But through vibe coding, anyone in this room, no matter your level of proficiency, create a full application in less than 2 minutes for free, right? And it's being used right now by one of the leading company, and I'm the one leading the charge for the NHS. And when I looked at industry-specific potential for vibe coding, which is relevant to today's conference event, is, for example, if your firm is, for example, using professional service, customer sale, you can directly create dashboard. And then when you look at the second pillar, manufacturing, you could potentially streamline the operation within your organization. And then healthcare, for example, I've created personally over 100 apps for the NHS using vibe coding. I don't know how to code, I'm a pharmacist, but through vibe coding, I'm able to create a full stack application fairly quickly. And retail, which is one of the key focus for today, so if you run your own restaurant, instead of approaching a development agency to create a CRM system, for those that know what CRM is, customer relationship management, you can do it on your own, especially if you own the business, because you're the key decision maker. And the platform I'll be showcasing today as a live demo is Lovable. And Lovable allow you to create a full stack application with the prompt. And I'll be showing my best practice, which I've learned from the past 6 months. I've run 7 hackathons, upskill over 200 clinicians across the country in the NHS, going from hospital, GP practice, pharmaceutical industry, to come and create this kind of vibe coding for healthcare application. But you can also use it for restaurant, for your business, for transport, anything goes, right? And it's 20 times faster. And also some of the things to be careful of is it allows you to quickly create prototype, but you still need to make sure that once you've created a prototype, to work with the professional developers to make sure it is safe, there's no security flaw in the code base. And what's beautiful about Lovable is that whatever you create, you own it. Code is IP. Previously, when you created an application, the code was owned by the platform, but now you own it. And I'm going to show how to do it for everyone in the next 30 to 40 seconds. So basically the key message I want to say is everyone that's here today, if you have a business that's either small to medium size, you should definitely embrace vibe coding. And to amplify what I'm talking about, I'm going to do a live demo specifically for today's event. So I've created a mind map. So it might look a bit confusing, But basically, the core platform is Lovable, which is going to allow you to create full stack application. Superbase, think of it as the brain of your function. So for example, when you have a mobile phone, you can use your app, but then if you want to store your video or photos, you need to put it in your memory, like memory disk or something, right? Storage. Superbase is the equivalent of that. And then you can also use GitHub, which is like a bank account to keep your code secret for you only. And I'm assuming many people haven't heard of API before, so I'm going to skip that part. But I've created this mind map specifically for today for Tamil SMEs. So I'm going to do a live demo. So basically, in order to, sorry, my bad. So in order to create a full application, you can play around with it, but what you can also do is potentially use a statement to create an application. So it's like one of the best practices I've learned, so I'm going to do it right now. So you want to be using perplexity, you want to be using reasoning mode, if you can. And then you click enter. So now what it's going to do is going to give you a prompt, and from the prompt you're going to copy that into Lovable. Because you can use English to create an app, but then when you're using perplexity to create a prompt, it's going to get the most benefit for you to create your app. That's called zero shot. So now it's creating the full stack app description, and I just copy that into Lovable. So I'm going down, copy, go to Lovable, paste, enter. So what it's doing right now is creating the code base here, and then here is a chat function where you're talking to the LLM to create your app. Here is basically to connect to Superbase, which is basically the memory function. This is to connect to GitHub, and this is to publish a link. So this might take a few 2-3 minutes to load, but basically, as it's doing, that's how it looks like. So you have credits, you have the dashboard, you can rename the project. So now it's kind of creating the code base. So while it's doing that, I'm going to go back to that slide. So basically, for people that don't know what is an API is basically application programming interface. So when you use Facebook, when you use WhatsApp, when you use your NHS mail or whatever, this connect to an API. And the API, I want you to imagine it as equivalent of a waiter when you go to a restaurant. So when you go to the restaurant, you ask the waiter, can I please have a chicken biryani, some mangalasi, and some dosa. The waiter takes your order, goes to the kitchen, and say the customer would like some chicken biryani, mangalasi, some dosa. And the chef cook it, give it back to the waiter, and the waiter takes the dish, give it to the customer. The concept of waiter is API, and the concept of the customer and the kitchen chef is two applications. And Lovable allow you to do that. And basically, each of these is like a dish for audio, a dish for map, a dish for email, a dish for payment, appointment, domain name, blockchain, chatbot, generative AI image, generative AI text, user management. So it's still kind of doing the code base. As you can see, it's writing it right now. So you have to wait for it. But just to give you some of the best practice, so when you use Lovable, it's good to give like a full prompt. And once you give the full prompt, you iterate slowly. And I recommend to spend at least 70% of your time in chat mode. So chat mode can be activated on here. So basically, when you click chat button, you're talking to the LLM making the changes. So as you can see now, I still writing the code. So this is doing the code live right now. I don't know how to code. I don't have a clue about coding, but the Lovable is doing everything for me right now. Right? So while this is doing this, I'm going to show you some example while it's kind of loading it to give more context. So for example, there are some of the applications I've created. A good one would be, for example, London Pharmacy Map, Perplexity, Wiz. So many to choose from, to be honest with you. But for example, I did this a few weeks back. So I created this app with one prompt. That's called Zero Shot. Right? It looks amazing. The button works. The dashboard works. I did this with one prompt. I don't know how to do coding. It did this for me, and I own it. Right? So coming back to the Tamil app, still doing it right now. I think it's going to the mock app. But once it's finished, I've finished my talk, but it's still doing the mock data just to show how it's going to look like. And so that was one shot. Another one I did was quite good is with nuts left the mushroom. For example, a clothing website. As an example, this was done using Lovable. So I didn't publish it. I think the internet is being a bit slow, but this was an example of a clothing website for fashion. So effectively, you can have your own business for saris. If you wanted to, you can create that with Lovable, right? Okay, I'm still waiting for that part. And some of the example that's relevant is like a map. Please bear with me. So for example, I did this during one of the competition, a mushroom finder website. I'll wait for it to load up. So this was zero shot as well. So that was in one prompt, a website on mushroom. That sounds stupid, but that was just an example. That's how your website can look like. And you don't need to learn how to code. You just use Lovable, right? You have the catalog, you have the safety, the disclaimer. All this was done by LLM. Okay, still doing it. Am I good on time? Okay. But I don't want to take too much time. But basically, yeah, Lovable is definitely a game changer. And coming back to the example of the waiter, you can use speaker to connect all of this using Lovable, right? And okay. But does it? Okay, so including Tamil word, I can see here. Sorry, it's taking longer than expected. I think it's just the task I gave it. But does anyone have any questions so far from what I've showcased? Because it's doing code, right? But anyway, while it's doing this, let me quickly go to the UX. So basically, that's how you connect Supabase, right? That's how you create your GitHub. So let me do that right now just to show you the concept. So now I'm just connecting to my GitHub, which is my bank account for IP. So if we click on this, it's going to load up all the code, and you own it, not the platform. You own it. That's your IP. So I mean, anyone that's like a young kid can create full stack application. So it doesn't matter anymore. As long as you have an idea, you can make it. And then Supabase. Let me connect to Supabase, which is a memory function. So now that's connected. So that's why you can have users and so on. Sometimes you might get some error like this, which is okay. Just try to fix, and it's going to fix it for you, and it doesn't take any credit. So hopefully after this I can end my talk. Wait, let's for it to finish. But yeah, just to give a bit of concept of what I've done. So that's a hackathon I've been organizing. So I've organized 7 of them, and this was done using Lovable. And that's some of the partners we have. Okay, it's doing something. Let's refresh the page. Hopefully, it should work. This one prompt. I don't know how to code. It created a dashboard for CRM for your customer. So, okay, fair enough. Chennai, okay, so you did it for India. Customer, sell, and you can literally add more tab if you wanted to, right? It did in Tamil. And the customer tab. So that's just a CRM example I've done. And yeah, thank you for listening. I hope this was insightful. You can come and check me out afterward if you've got more questions on the concept of vibe coding. Thank you everyone for your attention. Yeah, of course. Cheese? Me? Okay, so I had a question from the audience. How can I apply this to medicine? So basically, I've got a Discord with all the doctors in the country that took part in my hackathon. So basically, that's our Discord server, all the hackathon I personally organized. I put some template which I personally created. A good one for medicine is blood. So I currently work in GP practice. So basically one of the, I guess, pain point is when you do blood tests for patient, it get missed. So I can click the patient has diabetes, he has dementia, heart failure, and tell me exactly what blood test to do. So then I can put it in the system so I make sure the blood test doesn't get missed off. Another example is for diabetes timeline. So for example, when someone has diabetes, it's not about medication only, it's about behavior. So I can basically create a profile saying that the meal he takes for lunch, I don't know, let's say at 12 o'clock, biryani, I do apologize for my misspelling, but yeah. So basically you can just build a template, download the image and put it in the patient record, which can be on EMIS or System 1. Another powerful one, if you work in GP practice, is called cough. And you can also do 3D object if you wanted to. So let me find the one that I did for medicine. Yeah, this one. So this is an example for 3D object you can use in your day-to-day practice. So when you explain to the patient how to use the inhaler, you can do 3D object. This was done using prompt. You can say how to use the Monjaro point for weight loss. This 3D object was done using Lovable. Another one is, I think, particle. I think it's for asthma. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. Yeah, so this is an example for my patient that has asthma. And I can explain to them how to make sure to leave 30 seconds between each puff. So basically using Lovable to help you become a better clinician, to explain medication to your patient. And another one that's very common if you work in GP practice is cough. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, cough. So when you work in GP practice, cough is very important. That's how the GP surgeon get paid. So for example, I can have a quick glance on how much cough point I have. And I can track which patient I call, right? And the register. And that's a cough code as well. So basically, by doing this, it allows you to track how much money you're making, how much money you're losing, and the exception coding. So that's really relevant when you work in GP, cough. So this was created on Lovable, using my mobile phone only, right? But yeah, that's all the example I did for the patient. And then you can also use for map. Let me find it. Give me 1 second. It's called Mind Map. You can also use it for voice as well, to be honest with you. Please bear with me. I've done so many. So Lovable, map, draw, particle, holiday. Okay. So this one I used back in December. So you can create map for your business as well. So I did it for pharmacy. So I can click on that and kind of tell me at what time it's open, what service they provide. So this was done using Lovable. And you can do that for your GP practice, your dentist, ophthalmologist, working in hospital. So it's like the map feature you can do. And then you can also do voice. For example, let me check if I did it. I think I did in the showcase. Voice. But you can also use your voice if you wanted to. I'm just trying to find the one. 11 dab debo for 30 language. So you can also add voice to your application if you wanted to, right? So you can pick a language. For example, I don't know, let's take Tamil because that's the main topic today. Tamil, start a conversation and you should speak in Tamil. Let me see if I can put a loudspeaker so people can hear it. Can you hear me okay? So I don't know, I think the voice didn't work, but basically you can do like different languages and you can add this to your application without coding, right? You can have conversation with your, like think of it, you can have an AI agent for your business that can talk using voice in Tamil if you wanted to. And I hope that was one of the questions for medical app.
Thank you, Aaron. That was a very helpful demo. My question is, have you done anything in the mental health space around using vibe coding to build anything like that, or anything that you can demo or show for us today?
So basically, when I did the hackathon, we had over 180 participants take part. and over 64 project was made, and the top 2 team were qualified for the grand finale. And basically some of the participants did do thing on the health space. So if I can show you the app, just to give you some insight. So let me close everything. So if you want, you can take a picture of TIS now. So TIS link has all the project from the participant. That's all the health app that was done in clinical AI and quantum. So TIS is the URL if you want. And I think one of them was on health, mental health, sorry. Just to find a good one. Voice therapy analysis as an example. I mean, it should work, but let's try. So that was an example of a voice therapy. So you upload the voice and they kind of find out if that person has some mental health issue coming up. Holistic patient tracker, quantum mood magic. Voice, using voice to check if the patient has some mental health issue. Pain pathway. But yeah, that's all the participant and also the scorecard as well. So you can see which one scored the highest as well from each one. So I can't remember which one specifically for mental health, but in TIS there's 64 app, 32 on clinical AI and quantum. So you can feel free to check it out. Any other question in terms of food business, fashion business, fitness business? Any question? Okay, thank you everyone for your attention.